Hey guys, today we're talking about the massive explosion of real estate investors, specifically in the Hispanic community. We're super thrilled, so let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome. Today we're talking to Pablo Sarmiento. And the reason we're talking to him today is because this is a special episode specifically focusing on the Hispanic investors. So Pablo, you head up the national side of Hispanic real estate investors, right? And that's what we want to focus on. So let's jump right into it. What is going on, man, in the Hispanic community? Because suddenly we're seeing a lot of people coming out of the woodworks, investing like crazy. What's going on in the community in general?
I mean, well, in the community right now, specifically speaking about in the Hispanic community, overall, it has grown in the United States. I'm not sure if you guys have heard, there's a lot of migration going on. But on top of that, there's a lot of Hispanics that have been living here in the United States that finally realized that, hey, I can actually become somebody, I can actually invest, or I can get a career. And it's showing on the numbers.
So I want to kind of pick it up there because that's the important point. So, I mean, like any other ethnicity, right? Whether it was the Irish at one point, the Italians at one point, right? Be it the Indians, different people have come to America chasing a dream. Right. And we've said this many, many times that, why is it that the Hispanic community comes to America to want to own a piece of America, yet they are the largest community that build America, they just don't own a piece of it, right? When you think about who's in the trades, who's in construction,
right?
Who's cooking your food, right? Who is doing the basic bread and butter jobs, right? 9 out of 10, you're going to find a Hispanic person doing that job. And then today, they're like, hey, man, we don't have to be just restricted to this. We can go from the workers to the owners.
Exactly. And you know what? This is the thing that it's basically an old generation that was doing a lot of the just hard work and not really working for themselves because simply they didn't have the information on how to invest and how they can make a better way to make money or income, right? But now the new generation really understands the potential or the opportunity that there is, especially in investing in real estate. And now they're taking action after realizing how they can invest in real estate. And the numbers, like I keep saying, it shows. You see it.
And so we're going to go through some of those stats. But so what are the most common objections that you hear, specifically as we talk about the Hispanic community? Because lack of work ethic is not the problem.
Definitely not. And we see that.
Yeah,
we love to work as Hispanics. We definitely love to work. And on top of that, we work hard. Sometimes we work 10, 12, 13, 14 hours. But at the end of the day, if people don't know what they don't know, they really can't do much about it,
So is it lack of quote unquote financial literacy, you think?
Well, number one, and I'll tell you this exactly because I've been talking about it over and over with different people. It's the lack of information, the knowledge in your language, in Spanish, right? Because we see everywhere, there's a lot of real estate gurus and teachers that, they're teaching this, but they're teaching it in English. And a lot of the Hispanic community, a lot of us, we speak Spanish still. And we need to know that, right?
And I think what happens is a lot of times whenever somebody speaks in our language, oh my God, I can trust the person. They look like me. They talk like me. Culturally, we are same, even though they may be able to understand English. So what about things like, say, immigration status?
That's another big part. And I say that's like number two. A lot of people believe that they cannot invest in real estate because they're illegal in the United States. They don't have a ITIM or Social Security. Right, exactly. And little do they know that that's not true,
Those are two different things, right? Legal status is a political issue, right?
Exactly.
That's a whole, we're not going to go there, right? Because that's a not ending battle.
Never-ending story.
And I've said this, sometimes people get offended, but I've said this, guys, listen, right? Put aside the legal status for a second, but listen. If your ass gets deported back to Mexico, you own 10 houses in the United States, guess what? You're better off. And this is this is no joke. And I'm not saying it lightly because now, guess what you have? You own a piece of this country. And even if you go to court, you say, hey, I'm a tax-paying citizen. I have 10 houses. I have 10 people that are renting houses from me. Not only are you financially much better off, but it is a plus point for you, even in the immigration battle. Because I mean, but a lot of times people think, oh my God, I got an I-10, right? I can't buy a property through an LLC. Nobody's going to give me a loan. Is that true?
That is totally false. And that's the information that a lot of people don't know, right? And another thing that people really don't invest in real estate, especially in the Hispanic community, is because they're scared. They don't have somebody to turn to if they invest in real estate. They don't have that support system, right? So if they don't have that, they're like, well, who am I going to turn to, you know? And they just decide not to invest.
Is it possible for me? No, and I mean, and we've laughed about this, right, a lot of times, because it's like any other immigrant population, right, that come here, now they're like, okay, I don't have to worry about food and shelter. That's taken care of. But now I'm going to buy a nicer car. Yeah. Right? I'm going to have good clothes. And it's normal, right? If you have lived with lack of something, right? What's the first place you're going to go? Hey, I can take my family out to a nice fancy dinner. I can take pictures in front of a great restaurant. I mean, and that's natural. We've all done it, right? We've all done, because that makes me feel important. That, hey, I've arrived, right? And the next thing is you're going to buy shoes, you're going to buy clothes, you're going to buy cars, because now I look successful.
Right.
But there's a big difference between looking successful and actually your bank account, or you are successful. You want to talk about that a little bit?
And you know what? I can empathize with that. I think you're describing me. About 5 years ago, that was me. You know, I've been a real estate agent now for 17 years. But 5 years ago, everything looked good. But everything was a facade. You know, I was closing deals. Whenever I would get my check, I quickly would have to go pay whatever bill was behind, you know? And I'm not ashamed or shy to say it.
No, but
because
I mean,
it was the reality, right?
Man, you've come a long way, right? 5 years ago, you would have, hey man, I don't want to talk about that, right? Because as if you're the only one.
The ego, right?
Right? As if you're the only one.
And I'm not. And I'm not. And especially there's a lot of people in the real estate industry per se, right? And they're probably real estate agents, loan officers. And that's the type of lifestyle that we live, because sometimes we're just stuck on that treadmill, you know, like we say, right? We're constantly closing deals, waiting for that next commission to come through, and then closing another deal. And we're constantly living in that treadmill that we basically don't even have time to look up what other opportunities or potentials that we have.
And nobody wants to say, hey man, listen, I'm just barely making enough to make it. Some months not make it so much, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to say that, because there's shame attached to it, right? And we've all been there. When you're broke, I can laugh now about my broke days.
Yeah.
When I was broke, I certainly did not want to talk about it, and I would get mad if you met, because why? That it was eating me alive, right? At that time. Now it's like, oh, it's funny.
You can laugh at it now.
Yeah, now it wasn't funny at the time. So one was immigration status. The second is lack of information and the attitude that we have to fake it until we make it.
Exactly.
Right? What do you think is the other thing? How about the credit part of it? How about money, PML, like private money lenders?
Well, yeah. I mean, the other main reason is because a lot of people they think they can't finance these properties. Or, you know what, it's going to require cash. I don't have cash. You know, a lot of the Hispanic people do have some money under the mattress, right? Let's not deny that. But the majority of people, they're living paycheck to paycheck. You know, they say, you know what, I don't even have credit. Nobody's going to lend to me. Or who's going to lend money to me? They don't know about private money lending, you know?
Right.
Something that's helped me out a bit huge, right? I took advantage of that, and I'm pretty sure if the Hispanic community knew about this, the other ways of financing a property, like private money lending, I'm pretty sure that they'll
commercial
be investing.
Loans, right?
Hard money.
I-10 commercial loans, hard money loans, right? A lot of times there's a huge, and that's the whole point of the Hispanic investors, right? Which you're leading. That's the whole point of it, that you guys more than ever have, I think, the biggest opportunity, because hard work is not an issue. You'll always know somebody who's in the trades, right? If you're not in the trades, you better have a cousin, you know, brother. And we laugh about it, but guys, think about it, right? And some of the biggest opportunities, right? Some of the biggest opportunities in our country today are in a lot of the Hispanic neighborhoods, right? I mean, you guys have made a mint, right? Investing in Hispanic neighborhoods, and rather than living in somebody else's building.
Right, exactly.
You own the building, and then you own the one next door, the next door, and next door, because not only are you becoming wealthy, but you're providing great housing, stabilizing real estate or stabilizing neighborhoods, and providing great housing. So having said that, let's talk a little bit of stats.
Let's do it.
I know you had pulled a few stats,
I sure
right?
did.
In real estate on the whole, right, of the millionaires that exist today, right? Obviously, there are people in technology. A lot of people know that. People are in financial services. But what is the percentages of millionaires in America today that come specifically from real estate investing?
Well, in general, all population in the United States, it's 14.8%.
14.8%.
Of the millionaires in the United States have made money through investing in real estate. If you ask me, that's a huge percentage, and that's a big opportunity for people to invest in real estate, right? And to become millionaires, create
Right.
that financial freedom that they want.
So, you know, what's interesting is this, that if you're in financial services, right? Not everybody can be in financial services, right? If you are, the other part is technology.
Technology
right?
as
But
well, yeah.
how big a sector is that? In terms of population, where is the most amount of people? Most amount of people are somewhere, somehow connected to trades, connected to real estate, somehow, right? Maybe you even work at Home Depot. Guess who you're connected to? You're connected to real estate. Biggest segment, the 14%, 14.8%, happens to come from real estate related activity and specifically real estate investing. So now if we talk specifically about Hispanics, and what we were talking about was in the last 10 years, what's happened? 2013 to 2023.
Right.
So give me some numbers.
Well, I mean, specifically with the Hispanic community, there was a huge growth, almost triple the growth as far as the household medium income, right? In 2013, we had 19,998. Today in 2023, we're up to 63,400. That's
Three times.
triple, yes.
And is that more than even if we look at the white population, the African American population, the other ethnicities, who's number one in that?
Hispanic.
Hispanic,
The
number one.
Hispanic community has surpassed every other ethnicity.
And here's my problem: that these types of stats, they're available, right? It's
Yeah.
not like a hidden
'em up.
thing. You pull the stats. Why does it not get talked about? Why is it that we're putting more pictures of people? Oh, I just bought a Range Rover, or I bought this. You know, I'm out to a fancy place for dinner. Why is this not being discussed?
Honestly, it's not being discussed, especially in the Hispanic community, because there's really no leadership in the community that's out there teaching and pushing this information. I'm sure there is in other communities, right? But not in the Hispanic community. It's something that we got to put out there. And that is why I'm taking it upon myself, you know, to push this information out there and inform the Hispanic community what the possibilities are.
And that's where I think, you know, in every community, somebody has to point this out. And then it's like, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That today, right, the next generation or even the Hispanic people that have immigrated here
Yes.
in the last 10, 15 years, they're way better off, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we laugh about this. Like, we happen to be in the Chicago market. When you look at, you know, it was like when you come from Mexico, where do you go? You go to Little Village, right? I mean, it's funny, but it's not. In every big city, you're going to have a section of the community where people go migrate to because they know another Sergio, they know another Juan, they know another
Right.
Pablo that lives there, that's their cousin, is from their area of the country, right? We will go there because that's where we find our type of people.
Right.
And then they immigrate. But we used to see rents literally 4 years ago, 5 years ago, rents in Little Village,
Yeah.
which was like Little Mexico in Chicago,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
were around $700-800. Today, you have buildings there. What do you charge?
I mean, today it depends the area, but it's between $1,400 to $1,800
Right.
a
It's-
month for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath.
not just 2x growth. That's almost 2.5, 3 times.
Yeah.
And here's and people are, well, rents have gone up. Well, why do you think rents have gone up? Demand is higher by those people. That means they're making a lot more money.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, literally they could not afford that.
No.
So
No.
the Summit is another example. Justice Summit, right? And this is happening not just in Chicago. You're seeing that happening around the
over
country,
the country.
right? So you had some more stats for me.
Well, we got another one here. I wanted to share this one here, basically. The drivers of wealth, the impact of home pillars of community network for Latinos. This is home ownership. The home ownership in the Hispanic community went up 26.4
Times. Not percent.
Not percent.
Not percent.
Times.
26.4
26.4
times.
times.
Right? I mean, think about that. That's higher than any other ethnic group. When you look at, and when we talk about Hispanics, obviously it's a very large segment of the population,
Right, yeah,
right?
it
So
is,
it's not just people coming from Mexico.
It's not just
from everywhere,
Mexicans,
right?
right.
It's from, but yet it's 26 times, right? In 10 years. I mean, that is absolutely
Huge
a
growth.
mind-blowing number. What else?
And that's the power of the Hispanic community, right? The business ownership went up 2.2 times.
2.2 times in 10 years.
In 10 years, in the
so
last 10
people went
years.
from workers to owning their
Business.
own businesses, not only their homes, 28 times more, but their businesses.
And then now we're talking about non-cash financial assets went up by 8.0 times. So 8 times.
8 times. So think about non-cash financial assets. So it's not the money under your mattress. It's non-cash,
Even though
meaning it's equity in your homes, right? Which we'll talk about here in a minute. It's equity in your properties that you invest in. It may be stock market, it may be cryptocurrency, it may be other business and investments, and that's 8-folds in a 10-year period.
Huge growth. Huge.
Massive.
Now let's go on to the next. We found here that in the Hispanic community, let's say for example they have a property that they bought, right? They don't even realize the equity or the amount of equity that they have there, simply because they just don't know probably about it.
They don't move as much.
The amount is they have 33.3% of equity.
So what is
in their
that compared
properties.
to the general population?
Compared to the general population has 21.1%.
So 33% in the Hispanic community, general population, general America is 21%.
21%.
So, guys, when you look at those stats, right, and you look at the rate at which the Hispanic community is growing, right? I mean, I laugh about it all the time. Like if you look at the Indian community as an ethnic group, right? Income earnings wise, Indian community is number one. But what is the amount of population? That's less than 1% America, right? I mean, there are maybe 0.05% Indians as a ethnic. Generally, they're going to be much more educated, right? Because that's the only way they can. America is far from India, so we can't just cross the Rio Grande. We have to come across a few different oceans, a few countries. But I mean, this is just the truth, right? So the only way to come here is by educating yourself or come here to learn. I mean, to basically go to higher education. But for Hispanic people, right, especially, I mean, today you see Venezuelans, you see a lot of different people, they are across the border.
Right.
So they're like, hey, man, not so good here, good in Texas compared to being in Mexico. And naturally, what are you going to do? You're going to cross and you're going to say, hey, maybe I didn't have the opportunity. I can give my kids the opportunity that I did not have.
Yeah.
So moving forward, right, what do you see happening not just in the country, but as a microcosm, what we see here in Chicago, and what are you seeing in the Hispanic people that are coming in as investors that you work with? Are they just all construction workers? Are they just in the food services industry? Who are these people?
Well, I mean, first of all, what I'm seeing right now, where we're headed as a Hispanic community, Hispanic population, tremendous growth. No matter where you're at in the States, here in Chicago, Texas, Florida, wherever you're at, the Hispanic population is growing and is blowing up, right? So what does this mean for us as investors? And I work with a lot of investors, as you know, and they come from all walks of life. Hispanics that work at a restaurant as a cook. We got somebody that's a general contractor. We have an HVAC, electrician, a plumber, a roofer. A lot of people that are investing are coming from the construction side.
From construction side, military, we're seeing people who
ex-police officers,
ex-police officers, they're Hispanic,
loan officers, realtors.
Exactly.
So many people that are coming and realizing that, wow, they can invest in real estate. So right now, what I'm saying is a lot of the people that, whether you're first generation, second, third generation, migrant from Mexico or whatever other country it is, right now is the best moment, the best time
in
to
history.
In history, yes, to start investing in real estate, rental properties, or flips. Because look, a lot of us come migrating from other places far away from here to just stay stuck working a 9-to-5 forever. It doesn't sound right to me. To me, it sounds like we need to take advantage of all the information that's already out there to teach us how to invest in real estate and buy a piece of America. You know, we come crossing so many borders. We go through so many troubles to get here. Why just come here and settle for a 9 to 5?
You know,
Let's
it's like,
buy properties.
what we've said is like you can't just be a part. Nobody comes to America and saying, "Oh my God, I'm going to build America," right? Everybody comes here because they want a piece of America,
Right.
And what is that piece of America? The American dream, right? Is owning your own property, owning some investments for your kids, for your family, and that's really what it is. And that opportunity is not based on immigration status today. It's not based on how much money you start with. It's not based on your credit, because that's something. Even we have people that do not have a social security number, right? That have I-10. And guess what? You can buy, it's easier to buy investment properties. And most people have a hard time understanding this. It's easier to buy a 2, 3, 4 unit building than it is to buy your own home. You realize they won't give you a FHA loan, right, on an I-10, but they'll finance your investment property, right? I mean, you could literally be living in a rental house and have the building next door, and and have 4 tenants in that building, which you draw income from.
See, the thing
and that's
is-
the beauty of this,
And
right?
we know this, right?
Right.
But there's other people out there that they don't know any about this. So the thing is, we got to push the word out. You guys got to push the word out. Let them know that they can invest in real estate, even if you have no legal status here in the States, even if your credit's shot. There's a possibility for you to invest in real estate. And I want to keep doing that, pushing that word out and informing my people and making sure that they understand it, especially in Spanish, right? So we got to bring this information out. We got to wake up the Hispanic community and let them know that we're growing. The possibility and the opportunities for us to grow with this growth is here. All you got to do is get the information, the knowledge.
100% couldn't agree with you. Guys, this has been great. Specifically, if you're in the Hispanic community and you really feel that, oh my God, right, I don't have options. You have more options than you realize, and it is exploding, right? Either you can be the person reading the stats, or you can be the person who's a part of the stats and you're making those stats. So please like, love, share with your friends. That's how we grow. This is Andrew Holmes with Pablo Sarmiento. And today we were specifically talking about the growth of investors in the Hispanic community. You're listening to Cashflow for Life.